What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment. And I know a lot of people have been wanting me to cover Kobe. I did a couple Kobe videos on my last channel that got shut down. And there's just no way for me to do it without using clips, really, that I could think of. Because it's just they're going to, shut it down or copyright strike it. But I could kind of watch it. I'll show you what I mean. And I covered this as like a series, and it was like one of my first videos on my old channel because his death just did not sit right with me at all. It was very interesting. The symbolism, obviously, of LeBron passing him like the day before, it being predicted in a cartoon was pretty crazy. The way it was treated was what I thought was weird from the beginning. The way the media treated it, they were very quiet about it. Then they did a very quick celebration, and then they were back to business. But his last game was something I found odd, and I used that in my last video, and we're just going to watch it, and I'm going to explain why I find it pretty interesting. So they started with 3:14 on the clock, the NBA highlights, whoever this was. They started this with 3:14, of course, on the clock. This is where the highlights begin, and we'll see. Kobe, of course, is going to get his. He's going to have a good game. So at 2:16 on the clock, he gets his first. 1:26. It's an inverse of that. And it's just really interesting where the clock stops. You get a lot of 1:26s and a lot of 4:13s just for such a short game. So here he comes again, and he gets the score here. And you can see they're going to give Kobe his. They're going to his family a lot. Very interesting. I found that interesting too. I found it interesting they kept going to his family. And I also found it interesting number 41 is on him. 4-1. Very interesting number. Obviously, this was on 4-1-3. That's Trey Lyles, by the way. And now they're showing his numbers. Again, 26th career, 50-point game. So a lot of 2-6s. 1-3-4 is where the clock has stopped. I just think it's kind of crazy. So he inbounds the ball here at 1-3-4. Then he gets a shot to fall. At 126 is where the inbound happens. Comes up again. Hits a 3 on 41. 3-4-1. So again, it's very, very interesting. And now they go to Jack Nicholson. They're going to go to all these different players. But for me, it's not like one or two examples. This is his last game that the NBA put up. This highlights channel essentially just takes clips from their highlights. And they started at 3-1-4. He's on 41, of course, hitting threes. They have the one stoppage at 2-1-6. They have the other stoppage at 1-2-7, and then they inbounded it at 1-2-6. It's all very interesting. Kobe's getting his, but they're going to the celebrities a lot. And I get it's Kobe's last game, but they're just treating it differently. Here's the 3 on 41. Again, very interesting. And this is going to happen again, I believe, with exactly 31.4 on the shot clock. So again, this isn't just me looking for things. This is it was so abundantly apparent that they were going for these numbers. I thought this might be a cool way to watch it because any other way it's going to get shut down. So we're back to the game. Of course, Kobe's got the ball with 4:13. If you noticed, he got the ball with 41.3 seconds. And with exactly 14 on the shot clock, he's going to make it over 41 again. This time they got 3:16 on the clock. I'm sure they wanted 3:14. 41 minutes he's been in the game. They make a point of showing us that, of course. So again, they just really these 14s and 41 just can't keep coming up like this. And these 3:14, 4:13. Obviously 3:16 is a very biblical number, but it's just crazy. Almost every Kobe shot, the shot clock is like a 1-2-6. There's Snoop. Again, this game was just very surreal to me, very different when you watch it back, and I think they knew something. There's Russell, a different Russell to his left, maybe some symbolism there. A lot of it, in my opinion, is just very strange. And then you can see again, right on number 41, Trey Lyles, who's an interesting guy, definitely a journeyman. And again, this was obviously now. The question is, did Kobe know something was going to happen? They were giving him a send-off. That kind of stuff I really don't know. But I do believe that they know when events are going to happen, and they make things happen ahead of time, such as this, LeBron passing him. So they're going to go back to this, and here it gets way more, abundant in my opinion, because again, we're getting down to 30 seconds. Here we go at 16.1, and he gets the foul with 14-8, pretty fitting with the 8. So we got the 14 and his 8, and then they show something. They show another 14. I'm almost positive. Something like the last 14 points scored, I think, or something to that effect. And I'm like, they're just really going out of their way to show these numbers. 42 minutes, there it is, scored last 14 Laker points. Found that very interesting, that they're just, again, go out of the way to show that. But all right. So now he sinks it. Now the Lakers are up 3, giving him his 6-0. Obviously, number 6 just died, so you could argue if that might be a thing. And gets the rebound and sends it. And the dunk happens at 4.1, which is precisely when Kobe checked out of the game with 4.1 seconds. So, again, I just find the whole thing very, very interesting. It's not like, oh, yeah, you couldn't have written this any better. They do go ahead and say that. They have to let us know that you couldn't have written this. But, yeah, this was basically the video I had put out. It was a little, again, I was able to edit it and things of that nature. I just don't feel like, again, trying and getting shut down or anything of that nature. But I think the 41s, the 413, the 314s, you have all the big people there, every single big person there. And then the only on-number sequence we really saw was 126, and we had a stoppage at, 216, 216. So the whole thing's really interesting, and you can see him getting his send-off here. This is, again, where he checks out of the game with 4.1, and just interesting. Gives a little wave off. And again, all the celebrities, all the fans, everybody there to send him off in his final game, which makes sense, of course. But when you look at it from what happened afterwards, you might say, well, maybe they knew something else was going to happen. Because it's very, very interesting, this whole thing. But yeah, so between the announcer saying that you couldn't have written it any better, all the number sequences for the gematria people, I don't think you can get that many number sequences in a couple minutes by sheer accident. Like, to me, there's just no way. And there's way more to this also. Again, there's on 12/26, so 1226, 2020, I believe the year was. LeBron, that's when he pretended to die. If you remember, he fell. He fell after a hard foul, and he just had his eyes closed, and he stuck his tongue out like Kobe and Jordan used to do, and then he just kind of popped up, and he was all cool. So, you have a lot of 126s that seem to repeat themselves. And as I pointed out before, the 413, 314, they love that one in basketball. They seem to use it all the time. It's just their absolute favorite. So, hopefully you guys, not enjoyed this, because it's not really, something I would enjoy with Kobe. But hopefully people find it fascinating. Again, I would have liked to have just showed the clip and been able to put captions in and things like that, but that most definitely would have got me a claim. So you guys could see the time. Also, if you want to watch it back, and you'll catch some times that I missed, some number sequences, things of that nature, things the announcers said, you might be able to. But I thought I'd put this out at least, because again, I just don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think you get this many parallel of numbers and synchronicities right before, of course at the time people theoretically didn't know, but before he would die. I just think the whole thing is very, very interesting. So yeah, again, just let me know what you think, and I'll be covering Kobe more. There's more interesting things I've noticed. Him meeting Luka was interesting. The way he spoke with him versus the way he spoke with LeBron, I found interesting. And the way his funeral was handled was very interesting. That's what kind of got me looking into it to begin with. So, again, nothing crazy, just my opinions on the symbolism behind that game, and that's just one of many things. You could see the reactions of the players when they get the news he died. LeBron doesn't seem like he seems like he's just acting. They all do. Nobody really seems like they're acting normal, so I found the whole thing strange. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings. And as always, rest in peace, Kobe. If, you never know. He had to know that they were on to him. He was taking on Nike and Disney. If you didn't know, Mambasita was taking on pharmaceutical companies and Nike. So he might have known that something was up. You have to think of that possibility. I know it sounds crazy, but if you believe they went after him, it's not that much more crazy to think maybe he thought they were going after him and did something. So you can always hold out that hope. I think there's a good possibility. At the very least, he knew he was being targeted. So that's what I'll leave that with. But I just thought I would cover that game because I thought it was really interesting. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.